and I'll give you the brief about trigonometry. That trigonometry is trigonometry. So it has something to do with tri and then metry, the geometric part. So tri, the word means triangle. You have done triangle and its properties. You have done triangle property as the angle sum property of triangle. You have done the angle of triangle is that in a triangle that there are three angles and there are three sides. So you studied triangle in two ways, either with the angle or with the side. So in trigonometry, we find relation between the side of triangle and the angle of the triangle. So in triangle property, we used the sum of three angles property. In trigonometry, let's not complicate it. Understand that it is a relation of triangle, which is specially a right angled triangle. A triangle which is right angled, only that triangle is in your syllabus. Okay, so right angle triangle you have studied in class 7th and 8th. In a right angle triangle, all the things which you studied earlier are applied in the trigonometry. So in right angle triangle, you have studied that this part is the base, this is the perpendicular, and this is the hypotenuse. In which way to use this a theorem? Type the answer. What was the theorem where there was a relation between perpendicular, base and hypotenuse? They are the three sides of a triangle, and you have used it as this: perpendicular, base and hypotenuse. So if you take the perpendicular, base and hypotenuse, then that is the Pythagoras theorem. Let's see, the second concept was a triangle with angles. So this angle is 90, this angle could be any. So in trigonometry, there is a relation between the perpendicular, base and hypotenuse, and it is given as trigonometry. So there is a relation between sides and angles. Earlier we had relation of only side separately in Pythagoras theorem, and angles only in triangle property. Now we will combine and then they are called the trigonometric. So in this trigonometry, we will find relation of angles and sides in the form of ratio. So that ratio is called by some names. So today we will just understand and try to remember what are those ratios called. The first ratio is the ratio between perpendicular and hypotenuse. Remember, a ratio is written as fraction. So when you write one ratio, it is the ratio between perpendicular and hypotenuse. Perpendicular and hypotenuse means the right angle triangle. So the length of perpendicular and hypotenuse could be anything, but when you find a ratio between perpendicular and hypotenuse, it is the first ratio. Second ratio is between the base and hypotenuse. Trigonometry deals with ratio of the sides of a triangle. So first ratio is between perpendicular and hypotenuse. Second ratio is between base and hypotenuse. And the third ratio is between perpendicular and base. This is the third ratio of a triangle in a right angle triangle. Now, since you are studying this in class 10, the ratio of perpendicular and hypotenuse is called by a name which is called the sine. Sine. Then the ratio between base and hypotenuse is called the cosine. And the relation between perpendicular and base is called the tangent. These are the primary relations. Ratio between perpendicular, ratio means upon. So perpendicular upon hypotenuse is called sine, base upon hypotenuse is called cosine, and perpendicular and base is called tan or the tangent. These are the primary relations which are called the ratios. And after this, there are three more ratios, but those ratios you will understand with the next part. The next ratio is between the base and perpendicular. Understand what I am writing, and then you will understand that actually what is in this. This is the fourth ratio. Fifth ratio is between hypotenuse and base, and this is the fifth ratio, and the sixth ratio is between hypotenuse and perpendicular. This is the sixth ratio. So first there are three ratios, 1, 2, 3. They are called sine. Sine is equal to perpendicular upon hypotenuse. Cosine is equal to base upon hypotenuse. What is base upon hypotenuse? It is the same right angle triangle. And the tangent is called, these are the names which are used. So these are the first three ratios of three parts of a triangle. Then the fourth ratio is the ratio between base and perpendicular. Fifth is the ratio between hypotenuse and base. And the sixth ratio is between perpendicular and hypotenuse. Now this ratio is also given a name. This is called cotangent. This next ratio, fifth ratio, is called the secant, and this is called the cosecant. So these are the six very important ratios which everyone has to remember and everyone has to learn. So is it looking difficult? How will you know that sine is what, tan is what, cos is what? It might be looking difficult, but see, if you observe it carefully, you have to learn only the first part, second and third. The remaining are opposite of this. See, this is the opposite of this. This is opposite of this. And the first one is opposite of this. See, sine is equal to this, perpendicular upon hypotenuse, which is the first one. This is opposite of the last one. Second is opposite of the fifth one. And third is opposite of fourth one. So actually you have to remember the first, second and third. And then remember that in the same sequence, sine, cosine, tangent. So in short, if I call it, it will be sine is equal to b upon h, cos is equal to b upon h, tan is equal to b upon b, cot is equal to b upon p, sec is equal to h upon b, and cosec is equal to h upon p. So this is very important relation which you have to remember. And how will you remember it? Just remember the first, second and third relations. So sine is equal to p upon h, cos is equal to b upon h, and tan is equal to p upon b are the ratios between the sides of a triangle. And this when you find the ratio, it gives answer in a number. And then fourth, watch this video and you will understand. 4 is opposite of 3, 5 is opposite of 2, and 6 is opposite of 1. So in short, you have to remember this sequence. Sine is equal to P upon H, cos is equal to B upon H. So what is the use of this? The use of this is you will get a ratio of perpendicular and hypotenuse, base and hypotenuse, perpendicular. And so when you will divide the length, like if you have a right angle triangle, as suppose I take the triangle as 3 centimeter, 4 centimeter and 5 centimeter, if it is a right angle triangle. So then according to the relation, what will be, this is the base, this is the perpendicular, and this is hypotenuse. So you will put the value of base here, perpendicular and hypotenuse. So wherever P is written, like here it is sine. Sine is equal to P upon H. So what did I write? What is the perpendicular? In this, perpendicular will be this number. So sine is equal to P upon H. P upon H means 3 upon 5. It is a ratio. Then cos is equal to B upon H. B upon H means base upon hypotenuse. 4 upon 5. It is a ratio. So you write, leave it as fraction only. Then tan is equal to P upon B. Tan is equal to P upon B. So P upon B means, what is the value of P in this question? P is equal to 3 and B is equal to 4. So what is the ratio? 3 upon 4. That's all, which is the beginning of the trigonometric ratios, where you should know the length of the perpendicular, length of the hypotenuse, length of the base, and just you have to write, you will be asked what is sine in the triangle, you will write P upon H, perpendicular is whatever upon hypotenuse, what is the base and hypotenuse, and that's all. You have to do it in this way. Cosec will be H upon P. So what will be cosec H upon P? In this question, hypotenuse is 5 and P is 3. So 5 upon 3. This is the value of cosec. So today in this, you just go through what I have explained, try to write this short and remember this. Then in the next class we will go in more detail about how to use these ratios and solve trigonometry. So type your comments below. If you want any particular explanation below this video, you can type and I'll try to solve your values. See you in the next class.